Alright, let's talk. You ever sit down, open your laptop and think, okay, I want to build a data project. Everyone says I need one, but like, what even counts as a project? Where do I start? What am I supposed to build here? Yeah, that moment right there, we're gonna fix that. Because I know what that feels like. You got a ton of info in your head. SQL, Python, dashboard, machine learning, APIs, cloud, and then a bunch of random data sets bookmarked, none of which you're actually gonna use. You've never even touched. And you're just sitting there thinking, how do I turn this mess into something real? This video is exactly for you. Whether you're applying for data analyst roles, data science, analytics engineering, whatever, a project is still the single most powerful way to show that you can think, build, and explain clearly. So today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that. Not some vague advice. I'm going to show you exactly how to pick a good project idea, how to scope it out, how to build it, what tools to use, and even how to talk about it when you're done. I'm going to be giving you a full example, step by step, using a fintech use case. So by the end of the video, you'll literally be able to start your own. So let's get going. First thing, and this is important, let's kill the idea that your project has to be huge. It doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing that uses every tool under the sun. It doesn't. A good project doesn't mean fancy. It just means real, understandable, and solves a question. You can explain it to another human being without reading a generic script. So if you're just sitting there thinking, I don't have a groundbreaking idea, or I don't know enough to make something impressive, stop. You just need to build something that makes sense, something that works and shows how you think. The biggest mistake I see is people starting with tools. They say, I want to use Python, or I want to build something with Tableau. Instead, start with a question. Ask yourself, what am I curious about? What's something a business would actually want to know? What kind of problems could I try to answer with data? I'll give you a good starter. In a fintech app, which customers are most likely to drop off in their first 30 days? And why? That's clean, focused, practical. You could imagine someone at a startup asking that question. Now you've got a direction. That's the spark you need. Now we build around that. Once you've got your question, you got a scope. And here's the key. Start smaller than you think. Ask yourself, what can I reasonably build in 2 to 3 weeks? Part-time. Do I want to make this a dashboard, a model, a pipeline? What's my end result? Is it a visual, a write-up, or live demo? The goal here is to finish, not to overwhelm yourself. Better a simple finished product than a big half-built one. If you're new to Python, don't aim for a full ML pipeline with deployment and all the cloud stuff. If you've never built a dashboard before, don't aim for a BI suite with filters and user roles and login logic. Pick something clean, 1 or 2 tools that you're most comfortable with. Try answering one question, one answer. Next up, data. Now, depending on your project, you've got a few options. You could either use a public data set, Kaggle, data.gov, World Bank, etc. You can find it online. Or you can create your own synthetic data set that just mimics real business problems. Or I'd say the best way is to just scrape the internet for whatever data set you want. In our example, the Fintech Churn project, you could either find a real open fintech data set online or create your own synthetic data source with a few made-up columns. A few columns like customer ID, sign-up date, source, channel, first transaction date, number of transactions in X week, or churned, which would be your target variable. And boom, even that gets you started. The point is, don't wait for perfect data. Pick workable data that lets you answer the question. Alright, now you map out what you're actually gonna do. Think of it like a recipe. Let's use the fintech example again. Here's the flow. Load the data, whether it's your, the CSVs, SQL, whatever it is. Clean it by fixing the missing values, formatting days, creating new columns like days between sign up and first transaction. Explore it. What do churned versus retained users look like? What's the difference? Build a model, maybe a logistic regression or a decision tree to predict churn. Evaluate it. Is it accurate? Does it help? Create visuals, maybe a chart or a dashboard showing churn risk by user segment. Write it up, explain what you found and what you do with it. Share it on GitHub, LinkedIn, wherever. Simple, end-to-end, clean. It doesn't have to be 50 steps, but it needs to show that you understand a real problem. You worked through the data, you got to some insight or solution, and that you can talk about it. Now comes the real work, building the thing. This is where most people get stuck. They hit a weird error in their code, or the charts look messy, or they realize their data's missing something and they just give up. Don't. It's normal. It's completely fine. You're gonna run into broken joints, missing data, models that just make no sense. It's all part of it. It's absolutely normal. But here's what actually matters. Don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Even if your model isn't super accurate, you can still say, here's what I tried, here's what worked, here's what I do next. That's what employers want to see. That you're thoughtful, you can explain it, you don't just copy code, you think. While you're building, keep a running list of what question you started with, which data set you used, what challenges came up, what steps you took, what you found, and what it means. Building a project doesn't mean you need to work on it for 3 months. You're not building a startup, you're building proof. So the goal is to solve the question, show how you thought about it, explain what you do next. If you're using a churn model, like we said in the Fintech example, it's okay if your model isn't perfect. You can literally say, I tried a logistic regression model and it worked okay. Then I tried a random forest, it improved accuracy by 10 points, but I noticed it was overfitting a little bit. So I simplified the features. That kind of thought process is just absolute gold. And it shows that you're not just throwing code at the wall and hoping for the best, you understand what's happening. Next up, documentation. I know it's really not the fun part and no one really likes to do it, but it's actually what turns your work from cool code into something communicatable. Here's how I want you to structure your write-up. Your title should be something clear and simple. Predicting customer churn for a Fintech app. Your problem statement, keep it to 1 paragraph. Something like, we want to understand which users are at risk of churn within 30 days. And your data set, what data you used, where it came from, what columns meant. Steps taken would be a quick outline of your process, data cleaning, feature engineering, model building, and so on. Findings. What did you learn? Be specific, because that's what's gonna help you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Recommendation. What could the business actually do with this? What you'd improve or try next. Shows that you know it's not perfect and you're thoughtful. Add some visuals, screenshot the dashboard, show a chart or two, keep it clean. Think, can a recruiter or hiring manager just skim this in a couple minutes and get the gist? If the answer is yes, you're good. You have no idea how many people build projects and then never post them. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Just post it. Put it on GitHub. Add a README document with your write-up. Share it on LinkedIn. Literally say something like, hey everyone, I just finished this project where I looked at early stage churn in a Fintech product. I used Python and scikit-learn to build a prediction model and a Power BI to show risk by segment. I'd love some feedback. What would you add or change? That kind of LinkedIn post is what gets people DMing you. That's what makes your portfolio real. Don't overthink it, just post it. Okay, now we're getting tactical. You've built it, it's out there. Now, how do you use it to land roles? First would be a resume. Instead of saying, learned Python and SQL, say something like, built a customer churn prediction model using Python, logistic regression, and transactional user data. Create a dashboard to identify at-risk segments and recommended targeting strategy. Much stronger, don't you think? Now, in your interviews, here's how you talk about it. Yeah, I built a project around user churn. I started by asking who's dropping off in the first 30 days and why. I gathered data, cleaned it, engineered features, and tested 2 models. I found that users from one particular marketing channel had way higher churn and they also took longer to make their first transaction. So I recommended, let's send a targeted nudge to those users in their first week. That's a story. It's business focused and it's clear. It shows exactly how you think and that is what gets you hired. Yep, you knew this was coming. You don't need 10 projects, but 2 or 3 that are solid, clean and show range. That's amazing. You don't even need to change your topic drastically. You could literally take your first fintech project and say, okay, so now let's build a dashboard only version using SQL and Power BI. Or now let's build a data pipeline using dbt and Snowflake to automate the data refresh. You keep the problem, you switch up the approach, and that's how you grow your skill set. Each project shows something new. Analysis, engineering, communication, modeling, visualization. And suddenly, when a hiring manager asks, so what kind of work have you done? You've got 3 answers with links, with screenshots, with evidence. No guessing, no fluff, no BS. You show the work. All right, so let's bring it all together. If you were sitting there at the start of this video thinking, I want to build a project, but I don't really know where to start. You now know how to pick a question, how to scope it, how to find your data, how to build and iterate, how to document, how to share, how to use it to get a job, and how to build the next one. And if this video helped, do me a favor and drop a comment saying, I'm starting my data project this week. Tell me what it's about and let's keep each other accountable, because you got this. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. One project, one story, and one offer away.